Thank you to our witnesses. We certainly wouldn't want to bring you here and tell you how the legal system is working when it's clearly not, which is what it just feels like a Liberal member just did to you. And I think that's the whole point, right? Like it comes back to the same point that I asked you. Why would a woman or anybody who's a victim or survivor come forward when they know nothing is going to happen? And why would an abuser stop doing that if they know there are no consequences? This is all law. This is everything you've said today, Kate, is to the point of there is no consequences in this current justice system. There is nothing in place to stop someone from actively going out and murdering someone in broad daylight. In broad daylight. Like, I don't know how more serious we can get today, folks. Like, so to sit across the way with the Liberal member and to say, oh, well, let's go into the weeds here. C-75 is doing a great job. It's not. It's not working. People are dying. Let's cut it and do what is happening here. C-75 was supposed to make it better, and it's made it worse. The stats are here. That is cold, hard facts. So I guess I would turn to Miss Alexander again. And I think one of the things people don't understand is Jordan's rule. How could you have somebody who literally bludgeoned you, in your words, almost to death? You have video evidence. He's out on bail for $500 the very next day. Is that the only time he's ever served?
Yes.
And it is thrown out. The entire case is thrown out, and this guy is walking free. Explain that to people at home, because it makes no sense.
Nobody understands it, because I have spoken to judges and prosecutors in America, and they say, what are they doing? What are you guys doing up there? It's a national embarrassment. And the criminals know this, which is why they park themselves in this country, which is why Canada is 4th in the world for human trafficking, which is why we're seeing such staggering numbers into the hundreds of percent on increase. And all these stats are people. All these stats are people like me, are your sisters, or your siblings, are your relatives, are your neighbors. And currently and for so long, there has been no justice system in this country. And I'm really sick and tired of having to repeat this when it's so blatantly obvious, because I am losing a sibling, a survivor sibling, every single day. I can't handle the phone calls anymore. The text messages, the Facebooks, the emails, hey, she's dead, or hey, he's free, or hey, he's out on bail, or I have 38 charges against him, but he gets permission to see my child. And he just raped me and impregnated me again. I'm not kidding you. This is what's happening in this country. They keep doing it because there's nowhere, you don't put them in custody.
There's no consequences. I want to ask the most dangerous time. You know, there was a bill put forward by a senator whose own daughter was murdered, and it was Bill S-205, and it was that vulnerable period of when the abuser is charged and is then let out on bail or a surety. That is, would you say, Ms. Walker, the most vulnerable time for violence and potential murder to happen?
I think the most dangerous time for that to happen is at the time of separation. But yes, the criminal justice system's failure also impacts the ability of women to seek help. So when you have a situation where somebody has been incarcerated, you know, overnight or whatever it is, and then is released, even if they're released with an order that they have to stay, you know, 25 meters away or whatever it is, we have abusers that sit on that line of the 25 meters and watch the woman come and go. She is never safe, and a peace bond is not even worth the paper it's written on. So and this is what women and girls are facing.
And that bill, they wanted to give the authority to the survivor so that she or whomever, men are victims of this as well. Let's point that out. But they took that out of the bill, that they would be notified, that they had the power and authority to water that down. And so these are the kinds of things that you have to change the law if you are going to change this. The last point I'll make is about incarceration. And, you know, we have these crazy stories of, you know, these children witnessing this violence. What are those children going to go on to do? They're going to go on to have violent relationships. Let's just call a spade a spade. If we don't have programming in place in the jails to support men to understand why they are violent, they can't be walking free because they're not capable of that. But if we don't fix our inside of our prison systems, we are going to have a merry-go-round.